Freelancer Codex podcast. Your host, Steven, and co-hosts Mike, Devon, and JD are all set. Join us and tweet your questions at Freelancer Codex. Find us on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com. Strap into your javelins and let's drop in.
Welcome, freelancers, to a very special episode 41 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, the longest-running Anthem podcast on the internet, back from Southern California, back from EA Play 2018, back from seeing Anthem shown for the second time in a year.
Yeah, man.
It has been one heck of a weekend for us, for the Freelancer Codex. We were finally in the same place after about a year of doing a podcast together. We actually got to see each other for the first time, and it was as awkward as I imagined it was going to be. So that did not disappoint, that's for sure. I guess we're just a bunch of awkward dudes, so not much you can expect from that.
It wasn't awkward for me. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was awkward. So, guys, what is up?
I felt nothing but love.
How are you guys feeling after coming off of this long trip to California, where it's super hot?
I actually think it's hotter here.
It's definitely hotter here. But
Yeah.
I'm tired from the drive, but it was well worth it.
Oh yeah, did you drive a lot?
Tired for the drive for.
Did you drive a lot?
I sure sat in that car.
In the back seat?
I didn't know I was allowed to drive, or I would have, you know.
Yeah, right.
I don't think you would, Devon, driving your car.
You would not have driven.
I would have.
It's all right. Yeah, it's all
right.
right. I think our drivers were good. It was a good trip.
Yeah, the best
The
driver
one
on the way
coming
home.
back was definitely the best. But,
That is true. I
Why?
got back a lot faster than we got there.
Oh, man.
It is true.
Although the driver coming back caused our delays on the way there, so...
I caused delays on the way there?
Yeah, you needed to stop quite. You needed to stop frequently.
I'm hearing an awful lot of fighting words going on right now.
You gotta go. You gotta go. All right?
You gotta go.
Yeah.
Watch
It
out
is worse
for
than getting
friendly
That's all.
people.
Guys,
Devin, were you saying that I was driving slow?
Well, definitely slower than Steven was.
that's true.
Steven was
So
going
this
like, 10 over what you were doing on a regular basis.
That's just how you do it. And this is an Anthem-related podcast, so we only discuss things Anthem. Actually, we can actually discuss anything that we want, because who cares, right? What are you going to do? Not put us on the Reddit? Whatever. We'll put out the episode anyway. So, guys, I want to get a quick overview, quick recap, though, of our trip down there, because people might want to hear about all the fun stuff that happened on the way down there. You guys have any fun stories? JD, you're like right there, so it takes you what? 2 hours to get to EA Play? You could probably just walk down there every day and go hang out, right?
I mean, sure. Why not?
Okay. So you didn't have nothing exciting happened to you on your trip to EA Play?
Well,
2018?
no. Nothing really this time. I mean, the drive over here is a short one, and honestly, I just Ubered everywhere, and
So just
had a lot of
nothing
good
exciting.
food.
After all the stories you told devs that you saw people dying. You had all these crazy.
That was
No,
in a
no,
different
no,
road
no,
trip.
no, no, no.
It's a different road trip.
Just
That's
nothing
a different
happened.
road trip, okay?
Is this
That's
your
a different
first-
road trip, okay? The two dead bodies I have seen so far this month have been in Florida and then today. All right, I've
All
seen
right,
it.
well, we don't need to dwell on that, right? Because that's morbid.
We're all about positivity around here.
Is this your first EA Play?
It's my first EA Play, yeah.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. So going down there, guys. So check this. We stop at this Podunk gas station that Mike wanted to stop at for some reason. I don't know why you picked this one. For some reason, Mike's like, we have to stop at all the Mavericks. But this time, he didn't stop at a Maverick.
Hey,
He
Steve.
stopped at Trader
Steve?
Joe's.
Steve.
Yeah?
If you're gonna tell a story, it's got to be accurate. Okay.
Being accurate. All right.
So go ahead and back it up and start with the truth.
In my mind, that's accurate. So you might have to fill in some gaps. We have to stop at the gas station, right? Because someone has to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to say who it was. It caused us to do this multiple times on the way down there. All right. So for some reason in this bathroom,
Man, we've taken a weird turn here.
this is what happened. We did take a weird turn to this gas station. Maybe it was meant to be. I don't know. Most gas station bathroom doors have locks on them, right? And the minute I walked into this one, you're kind of in a situation. It's like, it's too late to turn back now. So you better just do it. So this gas station bathroom door has a sign that says "Door does not close" or "does not lock." So I'm like, okay, well, better in there than out here. So I go into the bathroom. So I close the door. For some reason, there's a rope on it. So I take the rope in with me. And I'm like, all right, it's got to get in here, do it fast. There's no way someone's not going to knock on the door because the sign says, please knock before entering. Obviously, everyone's going to knock on the door. Who would just knock on the door, then immediately open? So I'm going to the bathroom, pull down my pants, getting ready to do my thing. And all of a sudden, I hear a knock. And I go, no. And someone pushes open into the door. I'm like, no, not here. Slam the door. And the guy's like, oh, sorry. It's like, I bet you are sorry. Walking me like that. Start of this trip.
It was a rough start for Steven.
It was a rough start.
Funny start for the rest of us.
It was like rough all the way through there. That's my one quick story of don't trust bathroom doors that don't lock at gas stations. How about that? How about don't let bathrooms that we're going?
So I've got dead bodies. You've got indecent exposure. Nick, Devon. I mean, not Nick. Mike,
Mick.
Devon. What do you got?
Mick.
Nick?
Mick.
I'm staying at my friend Nick's place. He just walked in a couple times ago.
Nick?
Yeah, as we drove in, we got to go through Zion's National Park, right?
That was fun.
That was fun.
It was fun. If you haven't had a chance to go, please go. Zion's is a great thing for everybody to see.
It's like pulled right out of the concept art of Anthem right there. It's like
It's pretty good, man.
trip down to Zion's National Park. It's like, hey, we need a big old cable to the Anthem of Creation down in here. So
Yeah.
Go check it out. Zion is pretty fun.
No, it was a good
fun.
trip. I think it was just, we were all super stoked to get out there. We wanted to see more of Anthem and just get out there and it was
Experience what the big people experience. Our little
Podcast.
4-microphone outpost that doesn't get too many morsels from the table. We get our scraps, but we wanted to get out there and check it out and see what it was all about.
And we're grateful.
So
for
it was
those
fun.
scraps.
We are grateful for those scraps.
all the scraps
But you know what? We were given more than just scraps this trip. We were there and got to meet some really cool people and have some dinners.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty fun for these. And I mean, not to say that we're country mice, but it was fun for us being in that arena and meeting those people that we realized were just guys. They're not different. They're not the ones we met were not overly full of themselves, I guess. Not that I don't know if they would be. I guess what I'm trying to say is they were just good guys and down to earth, and
I think what
appreciated meeting them.
is the perception that these people are like larger than life because they're people that you follow. It's almost like a celebrity status thing. To them, it's probably like not even that at all.
Right.
I'm just a normal person, but when you do a podcast, you've been following people for a long time, it kind of elevates them, but they're just normal guys that are guys and girls that are excited to show off something that they've been working super hard on, and they want everyone to enjoy it, and they don't care who you are. They want you to have fun, and they want you to have a good experience. So it was cool to talk to a lot of them, feel their excitement for their game, and just be able to geek out with them a little bit. So
So just
taking a
real quick,
baseball game, so it was good.
the thing that was probably the coolest thing to me was that they were just as excited to meet us as we were to meet them, and that was probably.
I don't know.
That's how it felt, at least, because especially like having dinner with Brennan and Chris, like they were both like they seemed excited when they were talking to us, and they seemed excited by our reactions to things and to hear about what we thought. And they even said, like, going to EA Play and E3, it's like it's a total, like, they want to go to sleep at this point, but as soon as they get there, they see everyone's reactions and they're just totally reinvigorated by it. And like I just thought that was like so cool, because it was, I don't know if they were just as excited to meet us as we were to meet them. I'm not sure. But the whole thing is that they were excited to meet us. Like they were excited to meet us too. Like not just because we're Freelancer Codex podcast, but like because we're fans.
Yeah.
And that was what caught me kind of off guard.
Well,
I think it's
a good
always
sentiment.
good, or it's fun to meet people that are passionate about something that you're doing, that you enjoy doing. And so I think for them, I mean, they wanna know what people think of their game, they see it day in and day out, and so it can kind of get look the same to them all
Routine.
the time, and so they want to see, they want to hear, they want to know what we think about it. They're passionate about what they made, and it definitely shows in talking to them, and definitely shows in the work that they've shown off to us. But I think they're excited. They want to get people hands-on time. They want to get people to be able to play it and experience what they've made. And so when we can get together and chat, I think it's always a good thing. And
Yeah.
so
I agree. I think one of the cool things, what was it? We was there on Saturday. We got to hang out with a bunch of people in line, and the standby line getting into the Anthem showing. We got to talk to a lot of people, a lot of their feelings about what the game is. I think everyone in that line thought they were going to get hands-on game time.
I don't know where everybody got that from, but
Maybe just wishful thinking, just
I don't
hoping.
think it was very clear in the whatever it was called that was sent out. It didn't say you weren't going to, or you were just going to watch a video. So I think automatically people just assumed that they were going to get hands-on time with it.
that's true. Since pretty much every other game there was hands-on.
Right. So it probably
That
wasn't
and the confusion
very
between
well
demos
because
and labeled demos.
everyone thought that they were going to get hands-on time. So as we were talking to people, a lot of the sentiment was, we're really excited. We want to know what this is. We want to know if there's, relationships. It's a BioWare game. A lot of people were really optimistic, which I was really glad for. A lot of times you can get kind of the pessimistic side of us gamers that are just like really down on this thing. This is just going to be a clone of this or whatever. But a lot of people were really optimistic. A lot of people had their what's the word I'm looking for? They had their concerns about what the game exactly was going to be. If it was just going to be just live service Destiny-esque game, or if it was going to be something that didn't have the relationships like Dragon Age or Mass Effect. But overall, I think everyone was really positive on it. Leaving the show, we'll talk about what we actually saw a little bit later. But everyone was really stoked. Everyone came out of there super excited. Everyone was talking about what they saw, the cool things that they saw. I didn't hear anyone coming out of the showing disappointed at all. I didn't hear anyone saying, "Oh, this game is garbage, it's trash. How come they don't have any relationships in this game?" So that's kind of something on the internet that we see a lot about with BioWare is that people are it's taking such a different path from what other BioWare games have been that a lot of people are kind of negative on it. But coming out of the show, I was really glad, and I was really surprised to hear that a lot of people are just really positive about what they saw. So
Yeah.
I thought that was
That's kind of what we talked about on the drive back when we were listening to, the podcast and other things from other people who were talking about it, is that it might be kind of an advantage for us because, at least for three of us, JD has way more experience with BioWare games than we do. Might be more advantageous for us because we're not expecting all the same things that BioWare has done in the past. We're not holding Anthem against a standard of what BioWare has done before. So to us, this is kind of like a really... we've been playing some BioWare games for our challenge, but we didn't live it and breathe it, growing up with these games or something. And they weren't a huge part of our gaming experience. And so we don't have this standard that we're holding it against. So maybe it's a little bit easier for us to see all the positive things and not really worry about what BioWare has done in the past and hold it against Anthem.
So what you're saying is we are boarding a new BioWare plane with zero baggage, where everyone else has all these carry-ons.
JD's got all the baggage.
BioWare baggage. The baggage that you're just gonna have to let it go as we get to this new airplane that BioWare is gonna fly for us off into the sunset. So.
Yeah, they're giving us a new experience, right? So.
And I think sorry JD to cut you off real quick, but as fans of the game, as fans of the developer, like if your friend wanted to go from building skyscrapers to building bridges, you would encourage that. You'd be like, if this is what you want to do, we're behind you. It's different, but it's someone that you really enjoy. They created other things that you really love, so why not give them a chance to create something new, something that you might enjoy?
Yeah, and that's kind of the approach that I take to all this stuff. I've been in the community a long time. I have seen the other side of things where it's like, why would you build bridges if you've only really shown yourself to be good at building skyscrapers? It's like, because you guys have made incredibly sturdy skyscrapers. You guys have made beautiful skyscrapers. Like if you applied that to something else, it'll still have some skyscraper qualities to it, but it's still going to be one hell of a bridge. So, I mean, that's what I'm excited for. And so far, I have not been let down by what I've seen from Anthem. You know, even the whole thing of, you know, no romance is like, I wasn't really like, I thought it would be nice, but I wasn't expecting it because I knew it probably wouldn't fit in a multiplayer kind of game. It would have been tough, and I get that.
It's almost like we called it around episode 20 that there wasn't going to be romances. So,
What?
the one thing real quick is that we if you got to go to EA Play, after you saw the Anthem demo, that you were able to pick a couple posters from the prize booth. So what we're going to do, since we got a couple extras, John Warner hooked us up each with a set of 4 of them. So we got some extras from our first watch through that we did. So we're going to give a couple of these away. I have the Storm poster here that we're going to give away. We tweeted out a tweet earlier that if you liked and retweet and followed us on Twitter, you'd be put into a drawing for this poster. So we will be giving it away next show. We'll pick randomly from all those new followers and all of our old followers also. And we'll give this bad boy away. So pretty cool. You can only get these. I don't know if they're ever going to sell these again, but
Well, I know they
maybe.
don't have a merchandise store for Anthem, and so because I was like, man,
As
I
of
really want
yet.
to get some of those shirts. Yeah, I mean, as of
I
yet,
did. I wanted a shirt, a hat, a mug,
we
a
might just
car.
have to order them ourselves, make them ourselves.
I was looking at yeah.
That's kind of our overview. So now I want to jump into what we actually saw at EA Play. So we decided to do a nice little voiceover recording of the EA Play press conference. And we recorded over all the other games, and of course they waited till last to show off Anthem, and we did a small little voice recording. So pulling from that video, guys, what are some of the big takeaways that you guys got from our short new cinematic trailer, plus the Q&A that we had with Casey, Mark, and I believe it's Kathy? I should have looked this up before, but now I'm putting myself on the spot. I'm pretty sure it's Kathy, the lead writer. So what are kind of your thoughts? Let's break it down. Mike, I would like to get your thoughts first and then go through Devon and JD.
Okay, so my thoughts on E3 and the new Anthem stuff that we have are this. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hit me.
I'm a really good writer, so here we go. Game looks good.
Okay. Good job, Mike.
That's not all you want. Keep going.
It's not, but I'm pausing for effect because that's what a good writer does.
A good writer or a good speaker?
Hey, I didn't step on your moment. Don't step on mine.
Huh?
The game looks good. Overall, it looks. I mean, it looks good. I don't have too much else to judge it against. When I saw it on the big screen, it was bright, it was vibrant, it was dark.
Good. It's good.
It was scary. It was I just lost my word. It was tense. The music kind of reverberated through you and just, you know, crescendoed at the right spot and paused at the right spot, and it was just a great. Hopefully the entire game is composed that way, and so it really sucks you in on that fourth dimension, that third dimension or whatever. Music was great. Third person isn't my favorite view, but I think I'll get used to it. Hopefully there are ways around that. I don't know. Third person, I have a hard time with third person. I like being able to do what?
What is it about the third person that you don't like?
I don't know. So I like looking down my sights on a gun. I like looking through a reticle. I don't.
Not Kathy. Sorry.
It's tough. It's tough, I think, for me to get used to, but I'll get used to it. I really liked the way that a team works together to take out enemies via combos and making sure that everybody is geared for the best possible outcome. I liked flying. I liked swimming. I liked running. And then in my notes, I wrote bugs because I don't really like bugs, and there's a lot of bugs. I feel like Wreck-It Ralph.
Technical bugs. You mean actual arachnid giant?
Yeah.
face
Yeah,
something.
I feel like Wreck-It Ralph.
Creepy
We get to
crawling.
climb a tower and fight bugs.
and more.
And then the few bits of story piece that we got that Anthem is a world unfinished by the gods, and they left their tools and they left their tools on. So at first I picture like walking into a workshop with reciprocating saws going off, and just that whole image in my head of, oh, there go my fingers. But I guess we don't have to lose our fingers in this part.
Dad joke image right there. If I
Yeah, that's a Saw 12. I think they're on 12. I think. But no, overall impressions, very strong. If I were to put it on a scale out of 10, probably an 8. Leaning closer to 9. Looking really strong, really excited. The Strider looks awesome. All the javelins and everything that they're capable of, and being able to see the different javelins and the customizable javelins and the different loadouts that you can have, mortars and flamethrowers and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, it's just good stuff overall. Very impressed. Music was great. Gameplay looked great. Just the different things that can go on. Like, I could keep going on with first impressions, and I probably said everything that everybody else wants to say. So we can move on to the next section.
I think you might actually enjoy third person a little bit more as you see that, this is kind of, you get to showcase your character more instead of always being just looking at your gun. So
yeah, I mean, I get that part. I get that part. As it stands right now, I don't care what I look like. That's because other people can still see me. I know once I put my shaders and customize stuff on, I know what I look like. That's for everybody else to stare at me for, and I don't need to stare at myself because I'll probably get distracted.
Mike's not a peacock. He doesn't like to show off. So
I don't. I get in there and I have to cover Devon's positions most of the time because he's always staring at himself.
Right. I'm like, check
out my right all over the place.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's
constructive criticism from what you saw. Things that maybe like, oh, this could be done differently, or this could, anything like that, or did you even think of
without being able to handle the machine itself? Probably not. Because I mean, it all looks fine. I'm sure button layout is going to be what we're used to, triggers and grenades and melees and things. And so like I don't have any thing to say that way. I mean, it all looks good. The story, it seems like we've talked about this a lot, that story is kind of first for our group, it seems. And it seems like that is the case with everybody that we've talked to. The devs on stage have talked about an intense story. It was, our presentation was led by, storytelling, and so it is what it remains to be seen, and so we're excited for it. I mean, we have another year to wait because
about 8 months.
Waiting is awesome.
255 days. JD, what are your initial impressions and things that you liked, and some constructive criticism, if you have any, for what we saw?
So much like Mike, the idea of the setting being a world that was abandoned by its gods and its tools still being left behind, like, I really like that concept, especially because it kind of strikes that kind of like mythic balance, like a little bit of fantasy, but at the same time, like, you're looking at the tools that they left behind, like the shaper things, and they're clearly technology, so it still maintained that like sci-fi element to it, which I really like, as opposed to other games that kind of mix sci-fi and fantasy, and it just basically comes off as like it's all magic, but they're calling it science, or science fiction. Everything that I saw, it looked satisfying. The abilities look satisfying. The flight looks satisfying. The guns look like they're going to be really fun to shoot. Let me just, yeah. And I really like finding out the names of the other javelins, like what their specialties all kind of are. I think my favorite design aesthetically is the Storm. However, I really like how both of them play equally, and I'm really glad that I don't have to just be nailed down to one and be able to switch to them. As for constructive criticism, I think in future showings of the game, I would like to see them show more of the underwater areas, because based off of the two that we've seen, the was it Dusklight or Darklight caverns, and then this like little bit after the Ash Titan in the video. So far, they're just kind of they seem like shortcuts to me, and not necessarily full areas to explore. And I was kind of hoping for them to be like full areas that we could like look at, because I see the poster for the storm, and you can see that they're like flying, like, well, they're swimming and they're like exploring an area, and I want to see some of that, and not just basically, because for a second there I kind of thought maybe the underwater bits are kind of like hidden loading screens, but I don't think they are, like, the more I thought about it, but it still just seems more like a shortcut to me than an actual fleshed out area, at least right now.
I think it possibly will get bigger. We do know for sure that you cannot pull out your weapons while you're swimming. Yeah. That's something that Mark said on Twitter, that you will not be able to do any. So
there's no combat, I don't think, underwater.
Yeah, which is good, because underwater combat sucks. Freaking Legend of Zelda. Anyway, okay, cool. So, Devon, what are your quick initial impressions? Favorite things, constructive criticism? What do you got?
Quick, you say? No. So my initial impressions were the game. Watching it up close. I mean, when we watched the initial EA Play stuff on the TV, it looked great. But then watching it in the demo room, in the live demo, the game looked just absolutely stunning. Obviously, it was running on PC, and I'm sure those. We don't know exactly what all the specs were for the PC, but it looked great. The particle system was amazing. Yeah, I mean, the game looked smooth. It looked like it ran smooth. There was no issues. Obviously, it was just a little tiny slice of the game. It's a demo. They had to get ready, a little space. But it is in the game. I mean, they just took a slice from the game and kind of made it available so that we could watch it and check it out, and so they could show off a few of their things. So I don't really have any criticisms for it at the moment. I mean, there's not much I can criticize besides I want to see more. But I mean, until I can really get hands-on with it and really spend some time with it, I can't really criticize it, because all I see is the demo that they've shown us, and they've shown us, the new javelins, given us the names, given us a lot of information to talk about and a lot of things to think about over the next 8 months, and as they slowly give us some more information. But really, I guess I would say I came away from it surprised at how polished that part of the demo was. Like, the UI was all in place, all the graphics, all the textures were super high res and looked amazing. And I was just kind of excited and astonished at how polished it was for a game being, 8-9 months out. So,
yeah, and I think one of the cool things about the slice that they did show us is they went into the map. They showed us the map of the world, them selecting the mission that they were going to go on to, and it looks like even though they selected that, it looks like it's not just you selected this. This is the terrain that goes with that. This is all the open terrain that you're flying through, and they flew through a ton of terrain that we saw.
Yeah,
and that means like the overworld map. I mean, they've done a ton of work on that. There's a ton of work that looks like is already done. So different branching paths that they can already go to. So it's not like this is the only part of the game that's done. I mean, unless they're really good at just saying, we completed this small little highway of this giant map, which I don't think is the case. They're pretty far, and they've done a ton of work on this game, and it looks really good. The way that the javelins move, we followed the Colossus through most of the demo that we saw, and the weight of the Colossus really translates into its movement, translates into how it sounds, using its thrusters to get up into a run, and then jumping into the air, the ground pounds. I mean, all this stuff, it looked and it sounded really, really good. I really enjoyed it. They showed us some combat, taking out some snipers, taking out the turrets. When they took out the turrets with their rocket launchers, I mean, this is they had a huge particle explosion that just looked fantastic. I mean, there's flames, fire everywhere. It didn't just look like, a tiny little explosion. It looked massive, like you actually were completing something, and it felt satisfying when they blew it up. which I thought was really cool, especially if it's something that, you know, these things might be around. Having a satisfying explosion of something that you're going to be killing multiple times is just fun. So I really like that about the showing. The one thing that I didn't really like, the Ash Titan that we flew past didn't look very interesting to me. It kind of looked like a big ogre with long arms and long legs. We didn't see it up close for very long.
Boo, Steven.
It didn't, like when we saw the Hive Tyrant. Hive Tyrant, is that what it was called?
Swarm Tyrant.
The Swarm Tyrant.
Yeah.
So when we saw that, I mean, that was an interesting looking creature. It looked like a tick, spider, face hugger, just giant, bulbous, mutated. It was gross looking. Something that you're like, oh, I don't want to get close to that thing. Like the Ash Titan was big, and maybe it was like a low level Titan. The Titans are part of in-game events, world events that are going to happen. It seems like you're going to need a lot of people to team up and take it down. So maybe this one was just really low level. It just didn't look that cool to me, and that might just be my preference. But I was like, well, I wouldn't want to go up against Swarm Tyrant. Like the Ash Titan, you know, it's just kind of a big dude walking around with a chest beam. So wasn't a huge fan of the Ash Titan. That's probably just on me, but
maybe it's more exciting when you get into the actual, you know, event, because they just skipped it. You know, they just wanted to show off, hey, here's a huge giant world event type of thing, and that's not the only world event, you know, only type of world event.
No,
so.
it's not. But I'm just saying I don't want to, like, it's really easy for me to like gush over everything that we saw because I really enjoyed it. I mean, we're kind of invested.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just be like, oh, this.
You could say we're invested.
Yeah, I don't want to be like everything in this thing is amazing and I love every piece of it, because then it would seem kind of pandering. But I mean, that's just one thing from the small little snippet that I wasn't a huge fan of. That's all I'm saying. Like
what about the numbers and the combos that people are talking about?
Oh, dude, the more numbers for me, like in a game like this, I want to see my numbers. I want to see my numbers increase. I want to be able to say, dude, did you see this crit? I just put down, 200,000 damage on this critical shot. What can you do? Like, not being able to see that, I think it takes away a little bit of the fun of having different weapons that can stack on different armor, that can stack on your abilities. I mean, that's what you want to see, right? Yeah.
It's an indication of what works and what doesn't is what exactly. It is. And so, I mean, it just makes sense. Yeah. If your bosses or if your enemies are going to have bars, then you need numbers to know, to have some kind of relevance. Yeah, just some, what am I doing to this to affect this power bar, It's got to correlate somehow.
I just really like the fact that you can combo. And
that's cool. That's going to be
really cool that you can work together, and if you have a group that plays together all the time, like, okay, here's what I'm rolling with, here's the kind of combos, we know what kind of combos we can do. And I'm sure as we're going through like strongholds and things like that, where it's like, all right, we're going to need these type of combos, these type of abilities, because we tried stuff yesterday and it did not work. And so I think that's a way where we can work together as a team, and in the game where they want teamwork, to be able to say, okay, these combos work, this is what really helps out. And also, so, it's not just like you don't just want to waste it. It's kind of like in Overwatch when you're using your ultimate or whatever.
Right.
You want to plan those things out. It's teamwork.
You combo your damage boost with your Soldier 76, with your Dragon Strike, and
exactly.
Teamwork. This is important. So you can go out there and just do whatever you want, but things are going to be much more proficient, and if you actually work
efficient.
Yeah,
I don't know if we haven't heard yet if enemies are going to have like damage resistances or weaknesses to different damage types, because we know there's a frost grenade, there's fire, there's flame, and stuff like that. So I imagine possibly they might. I haven't read anything about that yet. I haven't heard anything about that. But
it didn't look like it.
From what we could tell, we didn't know. I mean, some of the damage numbers change colors. We don't know if that's a critical hit. We don't know if that's because they are weak to it. But one of the nice things about the combo system, and which sets this apart from every other game that we have played in an open world, share world shooter like this, is that it's going to change all the time. So when you're playing with random people, it's going to be like, hey, what do you have? What can I combo off of you? I just got this new gun. Maybe it does something differently. What combos can we make from it? So changing the gameplay from taking the interceptor, taking the storm, and being able to say, hey, my javelin can do this, what can yours do, how can we use them together, is really interesting. And it makes it so the encounters aren't just going to be the same, you pop your super now, I pop my super now, and that's it. Because you have your grenades, you have your ultimates, you have different weapons, different abilities, calling down a lightning storm onto someone that's been frozen, when they've been hit by
The lightning storm was awesome.
a firewall. I mean, there's so many things you can do that changes it up and makes it more interesting. And you know what? If a billion combos, pop up off of an enemy, that's pretty awesome. As
That
far
means
as
we're
I'm
doing our job.
Means you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Means you're doing Praxley's job. Crazy Praxley.
Don't
All right,
hire
so
I knew it was going to be trouble.
JD, you got anything in regards to the combo system? Because I know combo system hasn't been in any other BioWare game, so
What?
I don't know. I haven't played any
No,
other games.
the combo system has been around since Dragon Age Origins. In
Does
Dragon
it say
Age Origins,
combo when you hit an enemy?
Well, no, but the whole thing's with the idea of like multiple party members using different abilities that combine to make a greater ability. Has been a thing since Dragon Age Origins. They had it in Mass Effect 2, Mass Effect 3, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Mass Effect Andromeda. Like I remember in Dragon Age Origins, you could somebody could cast like an oil spell or like grease or something like that, and then another person could do like a flaming attack, whether it's a flaming sword or a actual fire spell, and it would create a big old oil fire. In Mass Effect, it'd be like somebody weakens their shield and then somebody hits them with a biotic blast, and that like shatter their armor. So it's been around, but I was really curious about how they were going to implement this in multiplayer, and I'm so glad they did it in the way they did, because the kind of like explosion of like combo on the screen does kind of have like a sort of like I can't remember the word for it, but it's just a very like gut feeling of, oh yeah, like it's very satisfying to be doing that with your friends. You'd be like, bam,
Gives you that dopamine hit, just kind of like that pop, and you get a headshot. So yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to combo with you guys. All right, so let's go quick story overview. So as much as we know, there are the Shapers are gods. I picture them as really big because their tools are really big. So like these worlds that they're creating, are they just like little toys to them? And then the Shapers, they left all their tools on, like Mike said. The miter saw's running, the bandsaw's running, all these things are running inside the shop,
corrupting everything.
And on this world, there's this thing called the Anthem of Creation. So the Anthem of Creation is what the enemies, the Dominion, want to harness, and of course the bad guys want to use everything for bad and not for good. So
bad guys do?
That's what bad guys do. They steal all the milk and they want to do bad things. So the Shapers are gone. They left. We have no idea why the Shapers are gone. We've been told that that's not the point of the story, but that's just the backstory. So I'm sure we'll learn a little bit about the Shapers, what happened to them. Maybe in the future we'll learn more and more. But they left these giant extension cords. They look like extension cords to me all over this planet. Some of them have broken up. And it seems like the energy is still running through these extension cords, which is causing these breaches, these anomalies that we have to go shut down that we've seen in the trailer. You got to get the 6 orbs, put the relics in the thing turns off, and you're good to go. No more power. I'm explaining it pretty good, right? You guys are still with me?
Mm-hmm.
There's some clinking going on.
There's some clinking. JD's drinking some water, which sounds like he's got like metal ball bearings inside this thing.
Oh no, it's just ice cubes bouncing up against the metal cup. I apologize.
So the Dominion are the bad guys, and they didn't say specifically, so you guys tell me if you got this impression or not. The Scars are part of the Dominion? Is that the impression you guys got?
No.
That did not strike me that way.
I think the Scar is just another group of enemies. So.
Yeah. They just struck me as like a third party.
Tertiary.
And the Scars are mutated humans, correct? That's kind of what we took away from that?
I wasn't too sure about that either.
I know they're another faction. They're another group, right? So there's the Scar, you have the Dominion, and then there's also the mutated creatures throughout the world.
Right.
I was curious about because I know the pre-order is like the Order of Dawn armor, and one of the regions on the map that they showed in the demo was the Fortress of Dawn. And I'm wondering if that's yet another faction that they haven't talked about yet.
Nah, I think that's just where they resided. This is the part where it's kind of like, I don't know if we can talk about this part.
Well, don't talk about it then. So as far as we know, so we're freelancers. Freelancers used to be this very prestigious group of individuals that
Say that word again.
Prestigious individuals, group of individuals.
Prestigious?
Did I say it right?
That's what I thought it was.
So they're prestigious individuals that would go out and take all these jobs. They were very renowned. People really liked them. They were like the Boy Scouts of this planet that we don't know the name of yet. And the freelancers so far have fallen on bad times. They're kind of tough times. They're like Spider-Man when he's ready to give up the costume, right? He's down, he's sad. He's throwing his costume in the dumpster. Someone's going to find it, take it to J. Jonah Jameson and sell it. So that's kind of where we find the freelancers. So we're the low of the low, and we're going to bring the freelancers back up to what they are. So maybe it's possible that the Order of the Dawn used to be this group of freelancers that were well-renowned, and they just kind of left, or something happened, or the Dominion started taking over. So anyway, so we're back. So we're just trying to make it into this world. So as we look over to concept art that they showed during EA Play, we got a concept art of us, I assuming, is the player in the foreground. And then there's looks like a storm javelin with some particle effects. It looks like he's stretching out his hand with some lightning. And he has two other storms around him. He's got a really big cape. Usually the storms only have half capes. You guys can see this picture. It's in the document. If you want to scroll over, it's over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's over here so you can see what we're talking about. So I'm guessing this is probably one of the bad guys. Maybe a leader, lieutenant of the Dominion. He's kind of flanked by some of his cronies there, or it could just be like, this is where you get your storm javelin from this dude. You got to go see him. He's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of Anthem, and he's just hanging out there.
He looks bad to me. That's all.
That's what I assume by the dead bodies around his feet, but you don't, they could have been bad guys trying to attack him too. What do you guys think of this concept art? You think we're, the leader of the Dominion, fighter for the Dominion, or just concept art that might not even ever make it into the game?
I think just concept art.
I don't know. I think that's kind of, a lot of the concept art stuff doesn't make it into the game, but I hope, this somehow makes it into the game, a similar situation to what's going on. So,
I mean, they showed a lot of specific concept art. I think a lot of these locales are going to make it into the game. These are pretty impressive concept art. BioWare, you better give us a book, because I'll buy this book in a heartbeat. So give us all the concept art.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think of the Anthem of Creation, the Shapers leaving? Is it, invoke feelings inside your body that you just can't explain, or you're afraid of? Or Devon, I'll let you go first. Impressions. Does this give you a Halo vibe?
I mean, they both have rings. Right now. No, I mean,
that is true.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting backstory. I mean, because it's convenient in a way that, hey, they're gone, so how can we explain all these random things are here, right? But at the same time, it also creates a lot more mystery. It's like, what's going to happen in the future? What happens if they come back, or why did they leave? Did they leave because they had to? Was something else attacking them? I don't know. And
what worlds did they make? If they're just like the business of building worlds for people?
Yeah, and it's like, well, if we as freelancers, if we start going around and doing stuff, I mean, ultimately, are we going to be, mutated by the Anthem of Creation, as we're trying to, I don't know, fight these enemies and do whatever we're doing?
Because really, so far, all our goal is to keep everything in balance, right? It's not to we're not given the task to go free the world. It's just to keep everything in balance and make sure all these extension cords that have been left on aren't going to destroy everything. Because the Shaper Storms, all these different events have been told that we've been told that they're going to reshape the land. So that's where a lot of our extra content and things are going to happen on a global scale. So all this, the Anthem of Creation, all these leftover tools from the Shaper are actually going to physically alter the map that we're going to be playing on.
Did they actually give us a name of what you keep calling extension cords?
No, they didn't. I don't know.
They just said tools of creation.
Yeah, they just look like they look like long arms that and they've got blue pulsating power going through them. So just looks like an extension cord to me.
If any of the developers are listening to this and you can send us a name, please do that. So
Tell us what they are.
If a giant god created a planet and he needed power, what would he use? He'd use an extension cord.
Not extension cords. They use power lines.
I don't think you use an extension cord.
That's what we use. Anyway.
To run your whole house? So, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Mike, you got nothing? He's looking at me. He's muted.
No, I'm not muted. I am... Sorry, I was looking at this concept art and just trying to follow along with your thoughts, and Devon's thoughts.
All over. They're like
your thoughts all are over. All over. It's very hard to follow you when you get like excited about something because you kind of like go all over the place. I think we have some basic story elements kind of lined out. We know that there are these characters known as gods. We know that there is this thing called the Anthem of Creation, and you're like you said, we as freelancers are kind of in the middle. The mission that they showed us during EA Play was to turn off some of these tools that that the other group was trying to turn on, right?
Yeah, and
they were trying to turn on these tools, and we had to go and silence them. I think that was the verbiage that was used, right? The relics were silenced.
Yeah, we silenced
them.
And so, I mean...
Well, I don't know if they turned them on. I think it just started turning on. They started activating, and there was a scar encampment around it.
No, they started. They were trying to turn them on.
No, they were already on, because there was a drill-like device that actually came up out of the earth where the heavy scarred dude actually came out of. So they spawned there. So these guys are obviously living underground. They use these tunnels to get...
Why do they have to be obviously living underground?
Well, just because where else would you're drilling from?
Well, I think you're a little... I don't know.
So I'm guessing that they're either using this energy to use, to mutate farther along, to either increase themselves, to up the evolution chain so they become more powerful. Something like that is going on in my head. That's my head canon already. So that's what I think. JD, what do you got? Are you getting some Mass Effect? What are you talking about, Mike? Go ahead. You want to tell me? You go.
No, you're funny.
We'll talk.
You're a funny guy.
JD, what you got for us?
You get some Mass Effect Andromeda feels from this. All this old technology found underneath the planet.
I mean, that's kind of like a staple.
No, staples hold papers together, JD.
Oh well. No,
we apologize. Our episode this week has deteriorated into a series of words that aren't really words.
Just noises and grunts.
Just noises.
So, in Knights of the Old Republic, the big plot MacGuffin was something that it was old technology hidden throughout the galaxy and the universe called the Star Forge and all that, and it was left behind by an old race in Star Wars lore called the Builders. So they had that, and Mass Effect. It was, obviously, Forerunner tech. Not Forerunner tech. Sorry, Prothean tech. Forerunner is here. Prothean tech, and then you also had Reaper technology and all that. So them using old technology or old technology is being left around the planet, it's very much BioWare style. However, I think the cool part here is that that this isn't just oh, they did something and stopped or whatever. The whole thing is that they know that the gods abandoned it. They, for whatever reason, they know that their work was not done. And I think the questions that raises regarding how did the people of this planet know that it wasn't finished? How do they know that this wasn't their plan and all that? I think the answers to that question that they're going to get into later, or I hope they get into later in the story, are going to be interesting, to say the least. Because they kind of speak of it pretty definitively. where it's like these guys, they left us. They left this planet. It's half finished. Like I don't know how like a whole planet full of people could like come to a conclusion like that without some kind of evidence. So
yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I'm intrigued by it. I am really looking forward to. They've already set up that freelancers are kind of down on their luck right now. That means something must have happened previously to all the freelancers where they had a fall. That means there's ample opportunity for novelization for Anthem. So that gets me really excited. They've got some writers in there, and other people are writers, and some people know how to write books. So I'm excited to get some books about the world. So, and then maybe then we'll figure out exactly what these extension cords are called. So real quick, Mike, you're going to break down. Mark Dara answered like 1 billion questions. He's still answering questions on Twitter right now for a bunch of people.
He's in beast
we wrote
mode,
down
right?
a couple of common ones. What?
He's in beast mode? No.
He is in beast mode. So we wrote down a couple of the more common ones that he answered out. I'm going to leave out the question because you can extrapolate the question from the answer. So Mike, if you'll just read through these real quick, you can choose a different voice for each one. No, you don't. You can use whatever voice you want. So
Here are some frequently asked. Here are some frequently answers. Let's see, how do you say it? Here are some answers to frequently asked questions.
Well
that
done.
was a sentence.
Well done.
Am I the best person to be doing this part? Here we go.
That answer.
Are you ready? Are you ready? So this is what we have learned so far. We start the game with the ranger and earn the other javelins throughout the story. I'm guessing that question was, how old are you?
Yep. Good job, Mike.
The next answer is thrusters overheat, cooled off by waterfalls and rain. So again, in the live demo that we were able to be a part of, we learned that the world was reactive, and one of the things that they showcased was using waterfalls to cool our jets. Cool your jets. But I'm interested in what else this means. So what else does it mean that the world is reactive? Is it just water? Can we just react to water? Is there an earth element that we can pick up rocks? And so that'll be kind of cool to see. There are no cheats, no keys. Oh wait, no chests.
Yeah.
No chests. Oh,
There
no
are
cheat codes.
chests.
There
If you-
are chests.
Maybe you're not the best person.
Yeah.
There are chests, no keys. Oh, there are chests. Look at that.
Yeah, you
I'm
don't need
guessing-
to open them.
I'm guessing that question was. I'm
Are
not
there
gonna-
chests, and do you
Okay.
need to open them?
Story will continue to be added, so that's good. There's a plan. They're not giving us a game and then saying done, on to the next project, so that's good. You can replay missions you have previously completed with other people. That's good. We will talk about customization later. That's good too. Level is attached to your freelancer. You will always get level appropriate gear. That's kind of fun. You don't know many characters. Let's see. Hang on. Don't know how many characters you have per account. Maybe one only, which seems like that's all you need because then you get all 4 javelins. But we'll see. There are resupply points where you can respawn in case you wipe. Remember when we used to wipe like all the time?
You should wipe all the time, Michael.
Wipe. Steven with the bathroom humor. You must have been watching a DreamWorks movie, man.
clean and dirty.
Yeah, you can upgrade your flying skill, which is good because Steven can't fly.
So you can fly
And Mike can't
There-
jump.
I was going to say
doesn't
something.
have
I'm
to
not.
anymore, it's just fine.
There is a crafting system in Anthem. Loot spawns for everyone individually. No kill or loot stealing, which is good because Devon's really good at taking other people's stuff. Some loot-specific encounters, which is fun because then you can go, hey, we need to use this combo on this encounter to get this kind of loot, which I think will be cool if different combos help you get different things. 'Cause then
So I
there's some
guess
skill
that
involved there.
answers the question we asked earlier. If enemies have, if they're affected by different type of elements or something, if some loot
Yeah,
specific
maybe.
encounters, or is it a question? Since you don't have the question here, is it do you get specific loot from specific encounters?
I think what it means is like this character, this boss you fight gives you this loot. But I added that I think it would be cool if different combos help give you different loot. Maybe even if it gave you a loot with a different or a weapon with a different element type. I'm not sure if there are element type weapons in the game. I haven't heard anything. Are there element type weapons?
From the last EA trailer, E3 trailer, the first E3 trailer, it looked like there was damage types, but we'll have to go through and look to see.
So that would be kind of cool if you use like a fire lightning combo. You get a type of element.
Well,
anyway, that would be cool. Okay, strongholds will be hard, so look for that. That'll be fun. It looks like this question was asked about damage numbers and that they're looking into removing them. I don't know if that means altogether or the ability.
They mean making them optional.
I'm sorry, I'm talking.
And we're not listening, Mike.
There will be some challenging endgame mechanics, which would be cool. And this is one that everybody's been asking. And this is the answer that has annoyed some people and have, I think, turned people off of the game. But on the other hand, it also turns people onto the game because they know how unbalanced that this element brings to games like this. But there will be no PvP. There will be no PvP.
That turns me on.
It turns some people off, but you're right. It's either one or the other. You either want it or you don't. There doesn't seem to be any middle. Another answer to a frequently asked question is that there will be ammo drops in the world. No mass productions and no microchips in Anthem.
They were talking about the technology of the world, that they don't have mass production lines. Everything in Anthem is pretty much handmade by the people that actually live there. So
nice.
So that leads
Okay,
to
that's
the other
pretty cool.
question, though, that there's no microchips. So how do they see through their helmets? What powers their suits? And where does
Exactly. Where's that power come
Mark
from?
said wait and see. I'm gonna guess it comes from Mark. I'm gonna assume it comes from the Anthem of Creation.
That
Ooh.
the
Just get a
technology
power
just works?
It just works. Don't think too much about it.
No, I'm guessing it'll be explained that comes from the Anthem.
So here's another answer. We are human. My question is, are we from Earth, though?
No.
No.
He said specifically that we are not from Earth. Did not come from a different planet. We are native to the planet that we are on.
Earth has nothing to do with this game at all.
Interesting. All right, there are dedicated servers, so if you need a drink, you just push a button and your server will bring you a drink and it'll be just fine.
Wrong kind of dedicated servers.
Oh, dedicated servers for those of you who like that kind of information.
Mike's not tech savvy.
I'm not very tech savvy. I have this screen in front of me that just works. I don't know how.
Just do
You
it.
see, you cannot earn
It's magic.
the Legion of Dawn items. Which means you has to pre-order if you wants them.
Right.
It also one other answer is that all cosmetics can be earned in game. You do not
Doesn't that
need.
contradict the last thing we just read, though?
So that's specifically the Legion of Dawn stuff, though.
Yeah, it's a pre-order bonus.
Because the Legion of Dawn
Cosmetic.
stuff is different, Devon. It's
It's
different.
a special cosmetic?
Yeah,
Devon,
it is.
I will
I'm just
come
asking.
over there. I understand what you're asking, but you know what? Stop asking it because some good questions don't have good
I'm
answers.
gonna keep asking about VR, all right?
You keep asking about VR.
Yeah,
Ooh, we
keep
don't know
asking me
about VR.
Yeah.
Do you think there will be VR?
I don't know.
I think I picture Devon walking into the wall a lot.
Have you done VR
so,
much?
Have you?
No.
I don't think you have.
So I said no.
Okay, well there you go.
JD was saying something. What you got, JD?
Go ahead, JD.
I was saying I did think it was pretty cool that Mark did confirm that we'll be able to customize the look of your freelancer. Like that's I know for a lot of BioWare fans that was a big question. So yes, you can customize the look of your freelancer, your pilot specifically. Then of course you can also customize the armor as well. And then I remembered I marked this one down because I believe it was either Steve or Mike who had this question in an earlier podcast. But they said, if I join a friend's instance, will I get credit for finishing a mission, or do I need to be in my own instance? And Mark there said, if you are at the same place in the story, you will get full credit. If you do a mission you have already done to help out a friend, we will have special rewards for mentoring. So you'll have special rewards for helping your friends out go through the story again. So it's special rewards for that. So I thought that was cool.
Yep, I think that'll help feeling like you're not just doing something just to do it,
So
but
you're
you'll
not
actually
just spending time with your slacker friends who don't play games.
Exactly.
Right.
It will be nice to
Play,
like your friends
Steven.
can jump in with you. So
Your slacker.
I did like how Mark also threw some shade at the at Destiny a little bit, because somebody asked how much. Well, will there be a limit to how much storage you have in your bank or your vault or whatever? And Mark Darrow's response was, "No. Why would there be?" I just got a good laugh out of that. So banks have unlimited space, which is awesome to hear.
I like
Yep.
it.
it would be good to be able to store all your stuff. So real quick, freelancers, I think we're going to end this episode here. We've been talking for about an hour. This is a brief overview, what we did at EA Play, how we showed up there, kind of story overview, gameplay overview, some quick Q&As from Mark. We're going to deep dive into the gameplay trailer that we have. We're going to dissect it. I mean, we spent 40 episodes talking about a 7-minute trailer. We just got about 22 minutes of information, so this will definitely last us up until the release of the game. Which
But we're going to also cover everything else that they release between now and then. So,
yeah, they're going to be releasing
Exactly.
a bunch of stuff. There's going to
we might just have to bleep this whole section.
There you go.
bleep all this out. So
Beep,
freelancers,
beep, beep.
until next time, do we have anything we need to clean up here? Nope. This is it.
There's a lot more to discuss. We just
We're gonna be at it for the long haul. I wish we could get all the information out. It's really hard to collect all this information when you're actually there, because you don't just get to sit down and go through it. We had a lot of fun being there. So, freelancers, this has been episode 41 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Codex. Follow us at Facebook at facebook.com/freelancercodex. I always play this thing and it waits. Turn it down. So I'm going to stop there real quick. That'll do. Eardrums. So if I just do a thing here, and I move this here, and I click this button here, click this button and do this. This is how the sausage is made, folks. And then I can do this. Well, freelancers, this has been episode 41 of the Freelancer Codex podcast, our first post EA Play podcast with all this information. Thanks for sticking with us. You can follow us at Facebook at facebook.com/freelancercodex. You can, it's still really loud to me. Anyway, you can follow us all on all of our social medias. You can go and follow us on YouTube/freelancercodex. You just find it there. It's probably some long old link. And until next time, guys, there's a new Shaper Storm on the horizon. And we'll see you on the other side.
Whoop!
Peace.
Later.
Bye-bye.